It's not, all that glitters is definitely not gold. And I think people think, have people ever said to you, I want to be famous, how do I get there? It's not about fame, right? It's about loving the work, and there are a lot of obstacles. So what have been some of the big obstacles that you both have had in the business?
I think for me, one of the biggest obstacles that I think any artist, especially when you're going from one place to another, you kind of fall into is I guess people not believing in you, or people not believing that you can do what you know you can do, right? Like every artist that I know that does music and is acting, or wants to do more than one thing in the people's eyes, we all have this problem with people believing that it's real. Like everybody thinks it's fake, or like, oh, that's cool. That's a nice little hobby you got, but it's hard to make believers out of people, man.
Jamie Foxx talked about that too, not being taken seriously because he's a comedian. Then as a singer, then he really is a really good singer, and then it was difficult. People don't want to think of you outside of one box, right?
Yeah, they if they, and again, I can see kind of why people would, but then again, it's like, artistry is artistry, man. I think every art kind of leans into another, especially when it comes to inspiration. So it's not far-fetched to see somebody do more than one thing. Like, why can't me or Rome do music and act? Why can't Kanye be a musician and a fashion designer? Like, each one kind of lends to the other one for inspiration, for guidance, and all we're doing is taking that to the next level. So
yeah, no, I agree with you on that 100%. And I'm sure you've dealt with it. I've dealt with it, on many occasions, especially when you work so hard to establish yourself into something that is already improbable. It's already statistically working against you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you work hard to get people's perspectives on you as this one thing, and you go, well, also I'm doing this too. And they're like, well, wait a second. No, we like you doing that one thing. No, go back to that, and that shit kills me because, to be frank, like I only see it from my own people, honestly. And I can't even think about like my Caucasian counterparts, friends who both live in both worlds where they get that kind of reception from people. And I think it's a deeper, like, rooted issue. I think that we get afraid of when things change, and whatever it is, it's trendy right now to be rude to people, to tear people down. And it's getting worse and worse. The more worse things you say, the more popular you become. You know what I mean? And I just preaching like, man, y'all gotta lift us up, man. Y'all gotta lift. You see the world working against us already. Society working against us already. You know what I mean?
And now we're working against each other.
Why do y'all think that is? Because it's like, I hate to say it out loud too, but the most negative things I have gotten has been from my own people as well. And I still love them, and I still want to rock for them, and I still want their respect more than anything. I care about their respect more than anybody's. Why do y'all think we do that to each other? Do we think there's not enough room at the top? Are they playing us against each other? What's happening?
No, I think
further back. Like, we got to go back before we even were institutionalized, before we even got to be able to be civilized. Like, those ramifications of slavery and also coming out of that, where we were just taught to not be smart and also not be forward thinking for so long, that there is some residual effect to that. I think that there is some connective tissue with that. Not necessarily. I know people have free will and people have opportunity to think what they want, but subconsciously, I think it's definitely something deeper. This crab in a barrel mentality. It's not just selective to our race, but we see it a lot more because, whether you like it or not, the Black community, we are the standard. We set the standard for just about every angle of entertainment. So. I've been on both ends of it. I've been on the end of it, like, damn, it's really like, this guy is this and that, and it's like praise. And then the other side of it is like, oh, he's doing this, and then people just pile on. So I think it's a combination of that, and also just, it's really trendy, man. It's just like trendy to try to crack a joke and get trending on Twitter. You know,
I think even building on that, I think like it, our entire existence, especially in America, we've always been compared to one another. There's always it's always been a comparison thing. Like, okay, we're gonna take this slave because he's this, but we'll leave this one. Nobody wants him, or this over this. And with the comparisons, I think there's so few people who can do it that it's hard to they don't want to draw comparisons, or even like they don't see it happening until they see it happen. Like that's always the craziest part, right? Like nobody believed in what I was doing until Own It popped off. Like when Own It popped off, that's when everybody was like, oh, okay, what's going on over here? Before, I'm going around, I'm telling people I'm dropping songs, literally going back and forth, knocking on people's doors, trying to get people to just work with me.
Yeah.
But you know, the few people who did, all of my big homies from Warren Campbell, Salam Remy, Harold Lilly, all of these guys, they looked out for me. Jay Valentine, Tank, like all of these guys looked out for me in a time where when I wanted to do music and nobody would listen, they were like, nah, we hear you, boy. Come on.
Right.
You can do it. Jamie Foxx could do it. You could do it. If Harry Belafonte did it, you could do it. So I think it's it sucks, but that's one of the biggest things. You got to find the right people to kind of have in your corner to push you, to help push you or guide you around those obstacles of the commentary.
Yeah. And it affects.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just piggybacking off that. And a lot of people say just, don't let it affect you. But when you build your craft around people's opinions and their opinions kind of are instrumental in navigating your career in a sense.
Yeah, man.
It's a lot of weight to carry, man. It's like I need y'all, but sometimes it's also detrimental to me too. You know what I mean? And so it's a tightrope you got to walk, and you got to be careful what you say, and you know what I mean? So it's like at a certain point, I'm just like, listen, I'm okay with people having opinions on me. I've already surpassed that. I've realized that my life is not really my own anymore once you become in the public eye, and you have to tell your families that. I have to tell my mom, give them the whole rundown, my brothers, everybody, that it's really out of my hands. You know what I mean? So, but I just want people to be educated, man. Like if you don't.
Drake said this one thing that always stuck with me, man. He's like, yo, this is the only business where it's not based on your talent, where you can be amazing, you could be like fantastic at something, but it's really based on it's always subjected to the people's opinions on you. Like we're in an opinion-based sport versus a talent-based sport like basketball, like football. Like you could train and you can get dope at playing ball, or like you could train, you could get dope at playing football or wrestling or whatever. Acting, music is really based on who wants you, who's rooting for you, or who wants you at the top at the time.